read the biography of our next guest. But I will do such a thing. Dr. Albright was the 64th Secretary of State of the United States. In 1997, she was named the first female Secretary of State and became, at the time, the highest ranking woman in the history of the U.S. government. From 1993 to 1997, Dr. Albright served as the U.S. Permanent Representative to the United Nations and was a member of the President's Cabinet. She is a professor in the practice of diplomacy at Georgetown University School of Foreign Service. Dr. Albright chairs both the National Democratic Institute for International Affairs and the Pew Global Attitudes Project. She's the president of the Truman Scholarship Foundation and a member of the advisory body of the U.S. Defense Department's Defense Policy Board. In 2012, she was chosen by President Obama to receive the nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, in recognition of her contributions for the international peace and democracy. Now, we also know that Dr. Albright has never shied away from speaking bluntly about politics and diplomacy, always making the case that women's issues are people's issues and deserve a place in the center of foreign policy. Far from being a soft issue, she says women's issues are often the very hardest ones, dealing directly with life and death. My favorite thing that she has said, in fact, is that there's a special place in hell for women who don't help other women. That's right. Please join me in welcoming a woman, the ultimate woman at first, Dr. Madeleine Albright.
Thank you very much for telling everybody who I am, because not everybody always knows. You know, not long ago, I was coming back from China, and Chicago was the first port of entry, and I was there getting undressed for the security people, and I stepped down on the conveyor belt, and the lady behind me said, "So where'd you get all those screw-top bottles? My bottles all leak." And I said, "Well, I got them at the Container Store." Then I was going through the magnetometer, and the TSA guard looked at me and he said, "Oh my God, it's you." I'm from Bosnia, and we all love you in Bosnia, and if it weren't for you, there wouldn't be a Bosnia, and you're always welcome in Bosnia, and can I have my picture taken with you? So he stopped the whole line, and I had the picture taken, and I go back to get my stuff, and the lady of the screw-top bottle says, "So what exactly happened here?" And I said, "Well, I used to be Secretary of State," and she said, "Of Bosnia?" I am delighted to be the first, but I have to say, when my youngest granddaughter turned 7, about 3 years ago, she said, "So what's the big deal about Grandma Maddie being Secretary of State? Only girls are Secretary of State." It's really a pleasure to be here with Mrs. Strickland and Justice Brown and Representative Beatty. It's great, really gung-ho, great. I'm very, very pleased to be here. I feel very much at home here. I have come back and forth to Ohio many times through many campaigns, and I'm very grateful for your hospitality, and I really have come here today to ask for your help, because we must be like President Obama and make sure that this happens, and Ohio is the secret to the whole thing, and the women of Ohio are specifically the secret. The race is going to be close, but I'm confident that we will prevail, and the reason is that our party works particularly hard on behalf of all Americans and gives up on none. We may not get 100% of the votes, but we will do our best for each and every citizen. And that's why we support a president who favors equal pay for women and access to affordable health care and for everybody, including our neighbors who do have pre-existing conditions. It's why we support a tax system that's fair to working families and a student loan program that will allow every young person, regardless of wealth, to attend college. And it's why we put our faith in a president who's leading us out of a recession instead of a party that plunged us into it. Republicans claim to care about jobs, but the history of the past half century shows that Democratic policies are far more likely to create employment opportunities. We have a long way to go, but under President Obama, the private sector jobs have increased every month for the past 2.5 years, and he wants to, and we want him to build on that progress. We also support the president's re-election because we want a chief executive who actually understands foreign policy, who will honor the service and sacrifice of our armed forces, who kept his promise to bring our troops home from Iraq, and whose policies reflect both our nation's interests and our ideals. Finally, we want someone in the White House who will place qualifications above ideology in appointing justices to the Supreme Court. I can assure you that President Obama understands who our most dangerous foes are. It is Al-Qaeda, but if you listen to the Republicans, you might think it was Planned Parenthood. I don't know about you, but I want a Supreme Court that will interpret the law, not invade our bedrooms. I've been thinking about something, and I'll be frank if I tell you that I sometimes wonder why the Republicans spend so much money to try to get elected if they don't believe in government in the first place. None of us wants a bureaucracy bigger than it needs to be, but government clearly has an important role to play. And I, for one, believe that our teachers and firefighters and police and other public employees deserve all our respect.